Today we were talking about something that is not only but also Conquest related. We're talking about Watcher's Gift. Watcher's Gift is an interesting item because it is typically built on supports in the duo lane in Conquest, and outside of that it doesn't actually see much use in most scenarios. However, people have considered using it in other modes, and I've been asked about this. So I tried to figure out the true value of Watcher's Gift in different modes. First of all, you have to know that different game modes in Smite have different amounts of gold that you get per minute without doing anything. This is not being close to minions, this is not killing anyone, simply by standing around somewhere on the map, basically away from anyone. You would still get gold, and the amount you get differs from mode to mode. In Conquest, it's the lowest value, it's 180 gold per minute. In Joust and Arena, it's 480 gold per minute, so more than twice than that. In Assault, it's 240 gold per minute, which is actually one of the lowest amounts aside of Conquest. And in Siege and Clash, it's 360 gold per minute, so twice of what you get in Conquest. These values will be important later on. Now, for knowing what the item is actually worth, we also need to know how many minions spawn. As far as I was able to find out, you get one minion wave every 30 seconds per lane in all game modes, except for Arena, where you always get an additional brute minion. This may not be 100% accurate, but let's just assume it is. And even if it wasn't, it wouldn't actually change anything about the implications or results here. With a wave normally being 6 minions, with Watcher's Gift's passive, you would get an extra 24 gold per wave if you were there for every minion that is killed. I'll read out the description and the stats of Watcher's Gift really quick again. Watcher's Gift gives you 10 health, plus 5 MP5, plus 5 HP5, and the passive is being within assist range of a minion or jungle camp monster death without dealing the killing blow awards plus 4 bonus gold, and also restores 7 health and 7 mana. Combining all the stats that we had beforehand, you can get up to 48 extra gold per minute with this item. Realistically, you're not gonna get all that much because you're most likely gonna miss out on some creeps here and there depending on where you have to rotate and whatever, but that's a general value that we can theoretically achieve if we stay with the wave the whole time and don't deal the killing blow to it. Watcher's Gift costs 800 gold, but the sale value if you sell the item is 533. This means you need 267 gold to make up for the buy value of the item. Assuming that you would get every wave, this would be approximately 6 minutes of farming. Knowing that that's rather unlikely, let's just make it roughly 10 minutes of farming without the extra gold that you get for being in assist range anyways. This is just the gold from Watcher's Gift. So in most scenarios, you want to keep Watcher's Gift for at least 10 minutes, if not longer, because the passive is great and the longer you have it, the better it becomes. So where should you get this item? In Conquest, it's quite obvious. The support will need the extra sustain, the support will also make great use of the extra gold, and there are hardly any situations where this item is bad for a support. Sometimes Mark of the Vanguard may be good as well against certain comps that have high physical aggression from 2 characters, but most of the time Watcher's Gift is just the support item. It's not worth it for any other role simply because you're not going to share a lane enough. So for Conquest, it's a clear yes, and there's not really much debate about it. But what about the other modes? In Joust and Arena, where you get between 48 and 56 gold per minute if you are with the minions the whole time, the item kinda isn't that valuable. It's only 1/10 of the base value of what you get per minute anyways with the 480 gold that you're getting. And realistically, you have a relatively short way to base, and the benefit of the extra sustain that this item provides you with isn't really gonna help you all that much. Especially in Arena, you can just walk back to base whenever, you get so much gold anyways, and you're much better off having more early aggression potential in both modes. In Joust, it can be kind of justifiable via the fact that you have two teammates that you share your wave with, so it gives you a bit of a benefit, but overall, I would still say it's probably not worth it in most cases, simply because there are better options. In Assault, this item is extremely underrated, and in my opinion, it's one of the best items there. Oddly enough, but most people just overlook it. Now, in Assault, you only have 240 gold per minute, which is just 60 more than Conquest. That's not a huge value, and with Watcher's Gift, you still get 1/5 of that per minute extra. Also, you're sharing the wave with 5 people. The gold that you're actually getting from a single minion kill isn't much at all. On top of that, this item has such great sustain. It gives you healing for every minion, and in Assault you have no way to back to base, and sustain is probably one of the most beneficial stats, which is why people often even buy Stone of Gaia, although it's generally considered a relatively weak item. It's just that great in this particular mode that I would actually recommend it. You can't get it on everyone though. As far as I know, Watcher's Gift actually only works for 1 player per wave, so it's probably not worth getting multiple of it, especially when you kinda want it on different characters from what you'd usually get it on. Most supports kinda need the defensive items in this mode early, and they can't really make too much use of it. Where I would usually get this item on is hyper carries. Gods like Kali, where you know that they're not gonna do very much early game, they can't clear and they can't really fight all that much, make excellent use of this item, because by the time they will die and back the first time, the time for the item to return its value is probably already over. So even if you sold it then, you wouldn't make much of a loss, but usually you want to keep the item for as long as possible just to get your build online much quicker, and maybe even in 1 or 2 deaths, and become a lot more effective than you would otherwise in a mode that is not particularly designed for characters like Kali that don't really have much impact early on. So for that, this item is extremely great, and I would recommend picking it up whenever no one else on your team is picking it and you think that you can get any use out of it. In Siege, the item is probably kinda unnecessary. You still have double the gold spooling of Conquest, you still have some nice, easy way to get back to lane, and early aggression is a lot more important in these double 2v2 scenarios, so you kind of have a short laning phase overall, and you're just gonna start fighting early, and well, that Watcher's Gift is not that great. It's one of those modes where it's saying this item is acceptable if you're playing a tanky character and you just want to sustain a lane, but it's not half as beneficial as what it would be in Conquest. In Clash, we are in a similar scenario to Siege overall, judging from the stats and what the item provides you and the length of the map. The benefit here is that you can actually theoretically leech from 2 different waves. You got the wave on the right and on the left, and you, if your team plays it right, are able to rotate from one side to the other and get the passive on a full wave and maybe another half wave. This requires the enemy team not to be pushing in on the other side though, and it's kind of a gamble, and it won't always work, so you have to have a very mobile support for that to work, and you have to focus very hard on just getting the farm with Watcher's Gift. So while it could be worth it for that, it is typically not the best choice as well. Once again, you have a lot of early aggression, you have still a decent amount of gold, twice as much as Conquest, and that makes Watcher's Gift once again worth half as much overall. So, in the end, I would definitely recommend this item for Conquest. I would recommend this item for Assault. In other game modes, I would say it's rather situational and typically not very useful. Especially in Arena, I would recommend against building this item. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was interesting. And in this video, I will probably link someone else who's making a video with the same footage, and that might come out tomorrow. So if you see an annotation or something or a card or whatever up there, you can click it and you can go to that channel and you should check it out. And it's probably, hopefully, going to be funny. Just wanted to drop that. It's not going to be up when I upload the video, but hopefully coming tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Duke Sloth, out.